This video is about connection with self and the heart of family life. This is a part one of a 4-part series entitled Family Connections, so do check out parts 2, 3 and 4 either at the end cards or in the playlist or in the description. You'll find them there. So this video on self-connection is we're going to talk about what self-connection is, why it's important in family life, what 3 things we can focus on and how to implement them and the benefits you'll see when you do. Stay tuned till the end because I have a very special offer for you that will help with your family connections and bring you closer together. Hi, welcome back to Spiritual Life. I'm Carrie, a mindfulness teacher and a home educator mum of 2 on a non-religious spiritual path. I'm passionate about helping parents learn a practical approach to spirituality to improve family connections and live a more conscious, meaningful life. So this video, like I mentioned, we're talking about connection to self. Okay, so what is self-connection? In a nutshell, it's seeing and hearing you. We don't do this enough, do we? Really seeing and hearing you. You might have heard about inner child work and really listening to that little you inside. That's what this is. So it's tuning into you, your soul, your spirit, your inner child, and really finding yourself again if you do feel like you've lost yourself. Because we meander, we go off, we get distracted. So it's about tuning in and finding you again. What do your soul want, desire and need? What does your soul want, desire and need? That's a really big question. And how do we answer it? We have to slow down. We have to spend time and really tune in, whether that's meditation, whether that's just finding some quiet time. It's tuning into you. And the only person who can truly give you this is you. The only person who can give you this connection that you desire, that you need in life is you. Yes, other connections with other people are amazing. We thrive on connection with others. But we need to have connection with ourselves first. So why? Why is it important? Why do we even need to know this? If you don't have it, then you'll have disconnection with others as well. Okay, so that's exactly what I just said. If we don't know who we are, how can we be someone with someone else? Because have you ever been in a relationship where you feel like you've taken on their character, on their likes, you've taken on their desires and sort of lost your way a bit? We do that quite when we're young, sort of teenagers, early 20s, and we can maybe do it all our lives really if we're not mindful of it. So and maybe when we break up with that person, we turn around and say, well, I don't actually even like that music, or you know, I don't like going to those places, but I went because of that person. So that is why we have to find us first. And then when we're in relationship, we can live alongside relationship. We don't become the relationship. So you, the parent, are the heart of the family. If you're disconnected from yourself, everybody is. Yeah, so if you're disconnected from yourself, then everybody is. If you're feeling stressed, then at the heart of the family, the main person of the family, those around you will be. You can see it because energies mirror. So if we're out of sorts, our kids will be, our spouse will be, our partners will be. And when we do this work, and we often say, yeah, but they don't do this or they don't do that, and I want them to be more this, I want them to be more that. But if you become the person you want to be, because you've tuned into yourself, then they will instinctively mirror that. Without, think of your kids before they were able to talk. They worked off energy. That's how they connected with us. If you smile, they smile. If you frown, they frown. There's that test, isn't there, where the mum had this baby, 6-7 months old or something, and would do sad face or do happy face and play, and it'd be all happy, and then it would look away, and the kid's trying to get the attention, and it gets all upset, and then as soon as the mum looks back, it's all good again. That's energy. They can sense the attention isn't there. They can sense the mum is distracted. The mum is not paying attention. Yeah? Or dad. So the analogy is to fill up your cup so much that it overflows and spills out to others. Yeah? I've always known it like put your oxygen mask on first before you help others. But when I heard this one, it hit me so much harder. Like, fill your cup so much that it's overflowing to help others. So what are your wants, needs, desires? And are you working to have some of that in your life, even in the busy times being a parent? We are role models to our kids, and we model what self-connection looks like. So if we're doing this work, we're following our dreams, desires, even if it's just a little bit, even if it's giving us 10 minutes a day, even if it's just having a cup of tea in peace and letting your kids and family know I need time, or you need that day at the spa if you're lucky enough to treat yourself. You need a day a week off. A week would be good. But if you need a day a week off, you tell your family, and you they honour that, they respect that, they learn to appreciate that and the benefits of it, because you come back a better parent when you've had some downtime. It's not that you want time away from your family. It's not that at all. It's that you need to be away from the responsibilities of it all. You want to be with your family, but it's about being able to not be responsible for someone all the time and start thinking a little bit about you. So that's what self-connection is and the why. Now we move on to these 3 things then that we can focus on. So number 1 is self-love. Self-love, so we'll talk about love. If you know me and my channel, you know that I do chakra tarots. I like my chakras. I've got my chakra ring, I've got my chakra up there. So self-love, heart chakra, green heart chakra, and this is about how you can love yourself more. Self-love, what do you need to love yourself more? You don't need to change. I'm not saying how can you change to love yourself more. How can you learn to accept and love yourself as you are now? What does your mind, body and soul need? Identify what self-love is for you. Now these are all questions you can put down in a journal. Understand the only person who can truly give you this is you. Okay, so how can you love yourself more? How can you learn to accept you as you are? If you weren't given self-love growing up, if you weren't given love, not self-love, if you weren't given the love in which the way you want it growing up, then what does that look like? Let's go back to the inner child. What does it look like to give that inner child the love that you desire? Because, like I said at the last point there, understand the only person who can truly give you this is you. So it doesn't matter what partner you've got. It doesn't matter what parenting style you're brought up with or what parents. You might have had an amazing childhood and that's great. But no one ever truly gives you what you want. Only you can give you that. What does your mind, body and soul need? So how can you grow mind? How can you grow your mind? How can you be using your mind in the way you want? How can you be using your body? How can you use your soul? What's your soul calling out for? What's your creativity and passion that you desire? Ask yourself these questions. Journal, contemplate them, meditate on them, and pay attention to how you feel. Understand or identify what self-love is for you. And I understand the only person who can truly give you this is you. So that's number one, that's self-care. Number two, self-praise. Okay, so self-praise is, it's like when you're not, the opposite is when you lack confidence, yeah? And you'll feel that in the solar plexus, back to the chakras, the solar plexus, which is above the belly button. So when you feel nervous or anxious, you get butterflies, it's usually there in that solar plexus that you feel it, because you lack confidence, or something's happened that you don't know, you're not sure of, you get anxiety, it's usually there. I mean, it can be anywhere, everyone's different, but you generally get that sort of feeling there. So in the solar plexus, self-praise, and we don't do this enough. This is a big one. Again, we can't rely on others to give us the love and the praise that we want and need. So we have to find out what it is we want and need. So I've put down here, we don't tend to do this enough. We look to others for our praise. Back to childhood. Yeah, so if we're always looking for external validation, we're never going to get it. We're never going to get it the way we want it. Because nobody can give us what we want the way we want it. None of it. Love, compassion, praise, anything. It all comes from within us. The power's within us. It's part of the spiritual life. To know that the power's within us. We need to remember the things we're proud of. So I do this with my family at the minute, is at the end of the day we'll talk about what have you done today that you're proud of. And we'll also say what have you done what have you done that's kind today, and what you're thankful for. They're the three things we'll do as part of our bedtime routine. So it changes. It's not just give us 10 gratitudes, that gets a bit more mundane and samey and doesn't really feel the same. Whereas this, what have you done that's proud today, that you're proud of? What have you done that you're kind today? And what are you thankful for? So when we do it like that on a night and you know it's coming, you start looking out for it in the day. My kids now are starting to say, oh, this is my... They'll do something nice and helpful and kind. And they'll say, that's my kind for today. And it's like, great, let's remember it. Because we'll remember it. When we're thinking about it enough, we'll be able to remember it. So we need to remember the things we're proud of. And when we're busy going from to-do list to to-do list to to-do list to to-do list, it's like you don't give yourself a minute to give yourself the praise that you've actually done that thing on your to-do list. And it just becomes a thing that at the end of the day, oh, did I tick them all off? Have I done a good job because I ticked them all off? Well, let's do the have you done a good job after each one. Especially if you know you work in an office and you have a to-do list like that all day, and you know, busy office kind of environment, or even working from home, self-employed, whatever. If you've got a to-do list, you can pause after the end of each one and recognise that you've done something good and you're proud, and why you're proud, and where does that feeling sit in your body. And this helps with confidence. So many people, we work on a lot of with our self-esteem, like I'm not enough. As a person, I'm not enough. I've done a lot of that work. I feel like I am enough in myself. This one is really hard. I am enough at what I do. What I do is good enough. That's a hard one, and that's where confidence lacks. And if we can acknowledge the little bits in our days and weeks and months, they all add up to be able to say, actually, what I do is good. What I do is a good job. I am worthy at what I do. So these are like affirmations you can put down, but we need to ask these questions to get to the crux of it. Number 3 then, self-trust and belief. So we've had self-love, we've had self-praise, and now we're on to self-trust and belief. So this is the third eye. This is your intuition. How do you believe in something or trust something when you can't see it? That's self-belief and trust. So stop second guessing yourself. Stop second guessing yourself. That's the confidence thing as well. I don't know, I'll have to ask someone. I don't know what to do, I'll ask someone. Did you do that growing up? Are you still doing it now? Do you need to? Do you know yourself enough yet to trust in yourself? And these practices are what are going to help you do that. So stop second guessing yourself. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. Trust your intuition and your gut. Yeah, so that third eye and that solar plexus that we just talked about. Trust you. In that moment, this is what you know and this is what you're going to do. You don't need, if you want to ask other people, but just notice if you're asking other people for advice all the time. Like, how often is it? Is it for everything? And half the time we ask people and it's not the answer we want because it's not what we want. It's not what we truly desire. And we don't follow their advice anyway. So what's the point in asking them? Because that makes you not believe and trust yourself. When you instinctively go and ask someone all the time, where's the trust in you? So stop second guessing yourself. Trust your intuition and your gut. And the more you do this, the easier it becomes. Okay. So how do we implement all this? I've mentioned this a little bit as we've gone through. So self-love, self-praise, self-trust. Bearing all those 3 things that we've just talked about in mind, how can we implement them? So we've got journaling. We can journal, we can just journal, put these questions down and cognitively answer them. Or we could do what's called automatic writing. Now, if you haven't heard of that before, automatic writing is a bit like channeling. You will just ask the question, sit with it, contemplate with it, meditate on it if you want, and just sit with it and free flow, whatever comes through. And you'll know it's channeling because it'll just come really fast, or it might even be words that you don't use yourself. So especially when you're talking about this stuff, things that we don't normally do, self-love, self-praise, self-trust, when we're talking about these things, we don't normally have the language for it. So sometimes, when we're doing this, an automatic writing, we know this is coming from our higher self, our inner child, the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. So journaling and automatic writing, that's 1. 2 is contemplation or meditation. So contemplation is just sitting and pondering on it. Just sitting and pondering on it, not feeling like you're having to do a meditation or having to do anything. You're just contemplating on that question. You could have your eyes open in a contemplation. Or a meditation's the same thing. You could close your eyes, you can go into meditative state and just see what comes in that place. And then when you come out of it, you might want to write it down in case you forget it. So you identify, so when you're doing these things, you're going to identify the 3 areas where you do or don't do them. So the 3 areas being the self-love, self-praise, self-trust. So identify where you do and don't do them. And then why. You don't give these to yourself. Why you don't give these to yourself? Look at past experiences. So as you're contemplating, as you're journaling, as you're writing all this down, look at your past experiences. What's happened in your past that has led to lack of self-praise, self-love, self-trust? Then we go to what. So we've identified, we've looked at why, we look at what. What can you do to give yourself more self-love, self-praise, self-trust? What can you do to give yourself more? Ask that question. So one of the things wasn't it, that I said, like, after your to-do list, check in, give yourself self-praise. When you're feeling down and you need someone, instead of reaching for the phone, can you just sit with that and give yourself it and acknowledge the feelings that are there? What will this look and feel like to give yourself more of all this? What will it look like, feel like? How and when? So be more mindful in your day. Be more mindful of your need for the self-love, the need for praise, and can you give it yourself? Where do you not trust yourself? Can you turn that around and start trusting yourself? Show that confidence in you, that self-belief. Journal every night if possible. And when we do a journal practice with a focus like this, it automatically makes us look out for it in our day. So like I said before, when we're doing it and we're journaling on it every night, we're doing it regular, it has to be regular, so that it gets in our mind in the day and we start thinking about it. Even maybe just having a cup of tea in the day, if you've given yourself that 5 minutes and you've just got that nice warm cup of tea, and when it's getting cold like it is now, and you sat there with a nice warm cup of tea and you're like, oh, this feels like a nice warm hug. Just embrace that. I've given myself that time. Here's my self-love right now. In between your to-do list and you pause and you're saying, job well done. Excellent. God, that's a great thing to get off my list. I'm so pleased I've done that. What a big job that was. You haven't just curled up and left it and procrastinated and, think about what you've done. You've actually done that action. You've made that move and you've done it. Don't just tick it off and move on. I've done it. Acknowledge what that feels like in the body. Is it in there? Is it in the confidence? Yes, I did that. I'm so pleased I did that. It was so challenging, but I got through it. Where are we? Bring this into family awareness and routines. So like I said, you can bring it in your bedtime routines, over the dinner table. If you're like me, that's one time when I really do advocate we sit down together and we have family conversations. And if we can do that when our kids are young, it becomes a portal really for when the kids grow up and they're in their teenage years, and it becomes second nature that we have conversations, connecting conversations around the dinner table. Now yes, my kids are young, I don't have teenagers, I know this is hard, but I'm thinking that if we have the habits early on, then we've at least got the opportunities for them to open up. Okay, so if there's no opportunity to open up and we haven't made a habit about it, it's never going to happen. So it's worth trying. Okay, so now we move on to the benefits you'll see. So I'm just going to list these. So the benefits that you'll see when you really connect to yourself are: you increase your self-confidence. It really, really will. You'll notice that difference in you when you believe in yourself, when you give yourself self-love, self-praise, self-trust. So increases self-confidence, it increases self-life contentment. You become non-attached. That's not detached. I've got a whole video on this. Go and check out my non-attachment video, because non-attached does not mean detached. It means not attached. You're not dependent. You're not conditioned by other people, your spouse, whatever, to be a certain way to give you the thing that you want. You have it in you. Family will see and feel this improvement in you and begin to model it, even if you don't mention it. So you can be doing all this work. You don't have to tell anyone. They will respond with what they see energetically and feel energetically. If you bring these into your family values, you'll begin to create the same within your family. Kids and partners start tuning into themselves and empowering them and taking the burden off you. So imagine, instead of your kids and your partner coming all the time to ask you about, I don't know, show me some attention, show me some affection, or whatever. I'm not saying don't have that, don't give that, but if we can show it ourselves, then our partners will learn to have practices as well. They'll see it and they will start to model it. It happens. It's just an energetic thing. So if you can just do you, the rest will follow suit. And what a good thing to instill in our kids early on, to have that self-empowerment, to have the self-love, the self-praise, the self-trust. So, the takeaway from this video: you are the heart of your family as a parent. Get you right and you will start to see improvements in your family connections too. Do these practices daily for them to become a habit. And remember, this is self-empowering, not selfish. Okay, so I hope that's really helped you. Before I sign out, I just want to say, I'll put the link at the bottom for this, but I do have a spiritual curriculum for kids that's out. It's over 100 pages long. It's a PDF downloadable, and it is 20 topics based on self, nature, therapies, and ethereal, so non-physical. And there's lots of activities in there. It's all about it's all based on the VARC system, the visual, audible, read, write, and kinesthetic. So if you've got some movie learners, moving, they don't like to sit still, then there's some activities in there for those too. So do check it out. The link for that is below. But I hope this video has brought you some aha moments, some takeaway moments for you to go and try. Drop them down in the comments, any aha moments you've got, or anything that you've gone away and had a look at and practice, and anything you want to bring back to the video, drop it in the comments. I really want to hear about them all. So yeah, that's all for now. I wish you well. Check out the rest of the videos, and I wish you lots of connection to yourself and others in your family. Much love. Bye for now.